You're ranked number 10 in a division stacked with a lot of experienced fighters, none of them having less than 12 professional fights. And then you have guys like Pitbull at the top and Weichel with over 40 fights. How do you feel like you stack up against those ranked above you in the division?
I'm appreciative to be, in that line of guys. Those are guys I grew up watching, which really wasn't all that long ago. But I'm excited to get in there with them at some point in time, but I've said this before, and I think those words went overlooked, but I'm in no rush, to go anywhere. I'm happy getting fights, as cool as it is to be the only undefeated guy in the rankings and the youngest guy in the organization to be ranked. I think it's also like, I like getting fights in, I got single digit wins, as cool as it is to have no losses, so I think it's awesome. I think it's cool to be recognized in that group of athletes. They're all fantastic, and I have a ton of respect for all of them, but I'm just appreciative to be there.
Anybody would be happy to be in the rankings, but would you agree that it came as a little bit of a surprise?
Yeah. I was in no rush to be there. I'm just happy getting fights in. I'm just happy fighting guys. And as much as I've been undefeated and then I've won all my fights, I've got, you want to add amateur, I got 10 fights. I got 400 plus wrestling matches, jiu-jitsu matches, but I got 10 fights. So I like getting more fights in and more fights in. It's definitely something I didn't expect until maybe something a little more like this year, maybe just a tad longer, another fight or so. But I'm not complaining.
Speaking of expectations, are you expecting cheers when you walk out? You're fighting a guy named Josh San Diego, very close to San Diego.
Yeah, so I'm happy to find out he's not from San Diego. I was like, oh, I'm so screwed. Like, there's no way anybody cheers for me. But he's from like San Jose or something. It's not even real. I was like, oh, we're fine. We're good. So as long as we're not fighting in Connecticut again, I'm stoked. So
would you rather be cheered in Connecticut or booed in California?
I don't know if am I allowed to curse?
Yes.
Fuck Connecticut, bro. I hate that state so much, and I'm doubling down on it, bro. I think the UK blew a 13-1 lead, and I think they should have kept Connecticut. I hate that place so much. I'm so over fighting there. I'm so happy to be somewhere else, bro. I was born like 15 minutes from here. Like I'm so happy to be somewhere else. I might get booed a little bit, but like fuck it. Like it's not even. I don't thrive off that, so whatever.
Thank you, man.
We'll take our next question from Connecticut's Dylan.
All right. So I personally, I can understand where you're coming from. You're from out here. It's okay.
You just from me, dog.
So, one thing I will say though, I have been there for some of your best performances inside of that Mohegan Sun Casino, and I've always thought that you were one of the most exciting fighters, especially with some of your submissions that you're able to just pull out of almost nowhere. Talk to me a little bit about how that stuff happens and how hard you train to be capable of, putting guys in those positions in no time.
It's years and years of this stuff. I'm halfway right now to my second stripe on my black belt, in jiu-jitsu. I've been wrestling a long time, and it's something that I'm no longer actively, I'm going to put this guy in a submission. Sometimes I just let him, sometimes I make throw mistakes. There's some guys that have put themselves in those positions. They just posted a clip of me fighting Skibicki 2 fights ago in Connecticut. And he put himself in a position that he shouldn't have put himself into. Lugo was someone who I coerced into putting himself into a bad position. Those guys, I've never had to muscle them into somewhere they didn't want to be. I've given them an opening that they shouldn't have taken, things like that. I've worked that game. I've fine-tuned that game for a very long time. And I think there's aspects of it and there's things that I work on at the gym and setups for things I work on at the gym and things I've done for forever that I've never actually been able to put into practice. There's things that I've never really seen the light of day outside of my training group, which, I'm cool with that. I'm cool having secrets here and there, even though to me, they're nothing new. To other people, they'd be something that no one's ever seen before. So, hard training, hard training. I've been doing jiu-jitsu every day since I was a kid. And it's something that I have an understanding of now, and have had an understanding of.
Thank you.
Sorry about Connecticut.
Santiago?
Hi, Lucas. Thank you for the time. Is your father, the West Side Strangler, with you as well? And how important has he been for your preparation to this fight? And is he the main man who orchestrates your fight camps?
Yes, yeah. He is my head coach. And yes, yeah. I mean, he's a West Side Strangler. Straight out of California here. But yeah, he orchestrates my camps. He orchestrates everything. He is my coach, and having the experience of someone who fought for so long in the growing blueprint of the sport. He didn't fight in nowadays where things are kind of how they are now. There were no suspensions and things like that. You could fight a couple a night, you could fight weekend to weekend. Those things were different. You used to be able to just show up and ask for a different rule set. There was different things back then. So there's definitely a level of experience there that I don't have and that I am incapable of ever possessing. So it's definitely beneficial to my training, to my camp, and to everything.
Yeah, you used to fight in Pride. Man, that's so awesome. Yeah, I'm a big admirer of your dad. And all of your professional fights have come inside the Bellator cage, and you finished 90% of them. I have a feeling that the company sees you as, a big prospect. You have a big future here, just like they build up AJ McKee. I kind of see something similar happening with you. Do you feel this as well, Lucas? And are you happy to be here with Bellator?
I'm super happy to be here with Bellator. I appreciate everything they've done for me, and I really love being here. And the Agent McKee route is definitely something I've looked at since I was an amateur. I do like that that way of going about things. As much as I love this particular fighter, I don't like the way he does it fine now. I don't like the way he came in. Pico was someone who came in, I think, with 0 fights, who was like, I'll fight for the belt. And then he kind of had a tough, going about. And now he has an awesome career going and he's fantastic. And so I really like the AJ route. He fought one of my old teammates, actually. But that's definitely the blueprint that we looked at when I was younger, and definitely the blueprint that I have made my best attempt to stick to so far in my career.
Danny Segura.
Lucas, I've never been to Connecticut. If you could explain to me, why does it suck so much?
There's nothing there, bro, besides Mohegan Sun, and it's just old people melting, right? Like they're just like sewn into the seats, just spending pennies. There's nothing there, bro. And I was trying to find food for after the weigh-in, anything mainstream, because it's like, you ever a pizza capital of the world? What, Chicago? I was just there, bro. Like, it's not even. And Chicago, I would never talk shit about Chicago. For starters, because if I walked outside, I'd get Swiss cheesed, right? But like, I can't. No, dude, Connecticut, who's gonna fight me? It's just old people. It's a highway to cooler places. There's nothing there. Whatever. You're cool, but but it's not. I wouldn't ever go back. And it's like, dude, and like, so I have IHOP the morning of my fights. I have a breakfast sampler, no syrup, right? No bacon, pancakes, sausage, eggs, right? A little bit of coffee. I love that shit. All right. There's not a IHOP in the state limits. I have to drive to Massachusetts or I have to drive to New York. And I was like, bro, like, this is the most American breakfast place ever. Dude, it was just like, I was also just sick of being there. I fought there 4 times and I kept being locked in the casino and shit. I don't know if you've ever driven from the airport to the casino. It's 2 hours of just nothing. Like, it's just forest and forgotten dreams and shit. And then the Mohegan Sun. So it's like, sorry, I'm cursing a lot. I don't know. I just don't like being there. And at this point, I've already said too much to go back.
That's kind of the strategy, right?
This is where I'm at now. I don't know, bro. I think the UK should have kept it. Whatever.
And I know that you said you don't want to rush and you want to do kind of the AJ McKee route. This is a bit of a tough question, but if you can put it maybe in terms of time or even fights, how long until we see you, say, with like one of the bigger names of the division?
I'd give myself probably like next year or something like that. I would, again, I don't put hard numbers on anything because I've tried to do that every year. I've tried to be like, I'm going to get this many fights per year, whatever. And then like a guy drops out again, day of the fight, COVID hits, I get COVID. So I always aim for something. And I usually don't necessarily get that number because of extenuating circumstances. So at this point, I'm like, I want to finish out this year. I want to get fights in this year, be healthy. And assuming everything's looking great, I'd love to get a crack at someone better next year. But again, it's just the route I'm taking. I'm just continually fighting better and better guys. And I want to stick to that.
Yeah. And it sounds like Aaron Pico was a big learning lesson for you, at least the approach to his career at the very beginning, right? Phenomenal fighter, by the way.
Yeah, I didn't like his blueprint going into his career. I love him. I think he's awesome. His style is awesome now that he's actually remember that he can wrestle, hits like a fucking truck. No, dude, he's awesome. I love that guy. And I watched him wrestle when I was in high school. So, but I do not like how he went into his career originally. I like what he's doing now, minus the shoulder shit. But, no, he's awesome.